Hey everybody, his nibs here, and just received the latest model from Asvine, and this is the P36 redesigned slightly. So this is version 2. They made some improvements, and this is titanium. So it's a large pen with a large ink capacity. It's a piston fill, but it's quite light because of the titanium. This is the P36. I think I said that. Hopefully I got the number right. The P30 was their antique brass version, which bears some similarities in design, but it is not the same pen as this, and that was quite a bit heavier. So we'll again take a look at the weights. Another out of the ballpark pen from Asvine, and we will compare and show you again the first 5 models from this terrific up-and-coming Chinese pen manufacturer. Up-and-coming as far as being a brand, but as I've mentioned in previous videos, Brittenham Lee and his wife Sally. Brittenham and I have had a business relationship more than 20 years. He was my main Chinese exporter, Chinese pen exporter. He didn't export Chinese, he exported pens. We've had a great relationship, and I'm really thrilled that he has now introduced his 5th Asvine model, and he does send these to me for review, so I want to say that up front. These are not pens that I purchased, but pens that I certainly would purchase and will be purchasing other colors. Not of this, but of, for instance, the P20 that comes in, I think, 6 colors now. So, enough of a preamble, and let's get some more focus on the desktop, as some other YouTube reviewers say. See you shortly. Okay, here we are, the latest from China, the Asvine writing instruments. Typical box, except I notice now that the pen nib has come to be the official look on the Asvine box and included instructions. I don't know why I don't have a older Asvine box within reach. Someone must have broken in and taken all of my Asvine boxes. And if I ever find that person. Anyway, Asvine used to be in script, ending with a vine and a flower at the end of the script. And that gave a clue to people how to pronounce Asvine, as opposed to the frequently used Asvine. But anyway, they've decided to go with the pen nib motif at the end. And the instruction manual inside the plastic clamshell box. And this has really been well done now. They have, it's all English and very detailed, and they have done a very good job with this. I realize I'm a little too close for you to read, but when you get your Asvine pen, you'll be able to enjoy the instruction manual. And again, they've made use of the fountain pen nib now, as opposed to the script and the vine. Put that aside, and here's the beauty I've already taken this out to do a quick look, so the plastic sleeve is not in here any longer. So we'll put that aside. And here we have this gorgeous pen, which is of titanium construction, so lighter than aluminum or brass or steel, which is really very, very nice. The main improvement that they made, and I can't show it to you because I didn't have the original version of the P36, is, let me show you a previous, okay. So this is the V126. And the only thing I want to show you here, other than the gorgeous sloshing ink, this is a vac fill, is that the cap band stops short of the end of the cap. So you have acrylic here at the very bottom of the cap. And apparently the initial version of the P36 was similarly constructed. So what they decided to do, which I think is terrific, is they have brought the cap band all the way down to the end of the cap for security. So you're not going to be chipping the end of the cap, because it's now protected by the cap band. So I didn't want to fill this. I wanted you to see it in its pristine condition first. Similar piston mechanism as they have used in the P20 and the P30. Really nice matte titanium clip and finial cap band, piston knob. It's just a real warmth to titanium, which is a little odd being a metal, but that's my experience and I'm sticking with it. So if we uncap this, let me change the focus a bit, get a little closer. And okay. Now this is a medium nib, and Asvine always marks their nibs with the size, which I think is a very smart thing to do. Now this is a friction fit nib and feed, as opposed to a unscrewable nib unit. And again, let's take a look at that piston travel. This is a very thick acrylic, and as you can see, quite a very large capacity of ink. And you can post the pen, but you never want to do that with one of these piston fillers, as you can see, because it's possible to twist the piston with the cap, and that could make quite a mess. This is plenty, let me change distance again, this is plenty large enough unposted. And I probably should focus a little further away, but I will change camera angles perhaps in another scene. So this is Asvine's 5th pen now. And I've got to stop showing the previous models because they're getting to be too many. But these are those previous pens. And let me see if I can angle this up. And the first one was the gorgeous overlay teardrop version, which comes in a number of acrylic colors. This is gold-toned overlay. There's also silver-toned overlay. And this was a vac fill. Not only was a vac fill, it still is a vac fill. And just a gorgeous pen for their debut. And quite a heavy pen. And I guess I'll do weight measurements one last time for the different models. Second was the P20. You might have noticed their numbering system, V for vacuumatic, or vac fill I should say, not vacuumatic. That's a Parker name from the Golden Age. And this came in initially 4 different colors, and I think they've added a couple since. This was the ocean blue. And this has a medium nib. Actually, the first 3 Asvine pens, I requested that they be medium nibs. I tend to use those more. As I was saying, and I have no idea why the camera decided to stop, these all have a little bit of ink. So I can't really see except through the camera. Stay on there, I hope. Okay. And that's 54.4, which is pretty hefty. The P20, again with some ink, 28.7. The P30, 47.2, so another pretty weighty pen, but I would never post this because it's, I don't post normally, but also it's too back weighted. And you can't see my hand, and moving on, the V126 comes in at 28.2, and finally the P36 titanium sans ink is 30.1. And that's all she wrote for weight measurements. So I'm going to, I think, set this camera up in a slightly different perspective, and then we'll fill her up and see how she writes. You may notice on the desk this is one of the new Jinhao 916, or is it 918? 9016, 9018. Which I haven't reviewed yet, but I got a bunch of these in recently, and I'm looking forward to doing a review of this pen as well. It's a behemoth, but that's for another time. Back shortly. Okay, back again, and my apologies for my incoherence in identifying this new Jinhao. It's a 9019 Dideo. And I'll explain the meaning of Dideo when I do the review. Really quite an amazing pen. I've been writing with these in different nib sizes for a while now. So I can only put my incoherence down to the fact that it's the beginning of September here in Pennsylvania, in Allentown. And we're in the midst of what should turn out to be the first heat wave of 2023 for us. We've had some days over 90, but now it looks like we're going to have 3 or 4 days. And normally I would have my air conditioner on in this office and a fan or two, but it interferes too much with the audio. Too easy to pick up. So I am eschewing that for the moment as I die here of heat. So let me put these previous versions of Asvine pens aside, and we'll take a look again at the new P36. And let's see, what ink shall we use for this? I know I had it here somewhere. Oh, here we go. I want to use Schaefer Script, and this is Peacock Blue. An old, I don't know how long this particular ink shade goes back, but decades certainly, and has always been one of my favorites. So let me get a little tissue here. Tissue, I hardly even know you. And good, so the cap even comes off. These Schaefer Script bottles have little shelves, little ink wells within the ink well, so you can get the last of the ink out of the bottle, which has always been a nice design. Let's see how this works on camera. Do I want to get close? Okay. I think the more distant view probably works better for showing the filling. Famous last words. So I'm turning the piston knob all the way down and beginning to drop ink. Ooh, that looks luscious. Now, if I was concerned about getting a completely full fill, I would do that once or twice more. Let me cap this before all hell breaks loose. And, okay, the first thing I notice is that because I submerged the section a bit further than normal, for purposes of the video, I got a fair amount of ink on the threads, which are not the easiest thing to clean. I think we're okay there. And the heat makes my camera keep stopping. I really actually believe that. The camera is being sensitive to the multi 90-degree temperatures in this room. So not only am I suffering for this fountain pen review, the art of the fountain pen review, suffering for my art, but the camera is suffering too. So this is going to be briefer than I might have made it, which I'm sure you're happy with. I swear, like every other Asvine nib I've done no tuning, and it's smooth as a baby's bottom as soon as the nib and ink touch the paper. And this is the P36 piston with an M nib. One of the Asvines, I think it was, it was this one. The second vac filler, I got with the fine nib, and that was just as pleasing as these mediums. And these are stiff Chinese nibs, so you're not going to get any normal line variation. You can push it a bit. Let me try this one that everyone seems to love to do, and I don't ever practice. So with pressing down a bit on the downstroke, you can get some line variation. But I would go with, personally, I would, if I want to provide shading to my writing, I go with a stub or a architect nib, or an actual nib designed for line variation. And so far Asvine has not produced those, but talking to Addendum recently, they are looking into that as I speak. So before I pass out from the heat and perspiration, and before the camera gives up again, I will bid you adieu. And you might think I'm a bit prejudiced because of my long relationship with Britain and this new Asvine brand. And you would be right to have that suspicion. But I'm not. These have, all 5 models now have turned out to be spectacular pens. Spectacular writers, great nibs right out of the box, and I have no hesitation in highly recommending. Excuse me, so I have no hesitation in highly recommending Asvine pens. Each model, excuse me, I'm dying here. Each model has been spectacular. The nibs have been terrific, right out of the box, obviously pre-tuned. And so as I wrote before the camera died this last time, adieu, and I will link to previous reviews of each of the Asvine models below. And I'm going to get a cold drink now, and I'm going to stick my camera, my overheating camera phone, into an ice bucket as well. See how that works. Take care, everybody. Okay, a brief addendum, and hopefully I am speaking loud enough, because I now have the air conditioner on, and I have a fan on, and all those wonderful things. So at the end of the video, I did something I haven't done in 20 years, because the cap was askew and not totally tightened, as I was worrying about everything overheating. And I sort of put it that way as I moved it, and oh my God, what a mess. Went everywhere. Desk, these are just a few of the culprits, my hands, my fingers. These are the day-to-day problems of a fountain pen user. Anyway, who knew that phone cameras had built-in thermal protection? I didn't until this experience, and I'm happy for it, because when I touched the camera, the phone, to take it down from its holder, it was really, really hot to the touch. So fortunately it didn't get to the point of bursting into flames, which I appreciate, since I just watched a video on e-bikes in China bursting into flames one after another with their lithium-ion batteries going. Hopefully you can hear this. I've had a couple hours to write with the new profiled Asvine pen, and I'm really enjoying it. So that was your special bonus addendum section, and I hope that you all appreciate it. Talk with you soon. Bye-bye.